Hello and a warm welcome to a brand new episode of South Central with me, Jude Sunneth. This is the show where we deep dive and explore big news stories from South India across business, politics and beyond. This is also India's first and only business news bulletin to focus exclusively on South India as we cover key news from the region. On that note, let's take a look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Semiconductor equipment giant Applied Materials India speaks exclusively to ET Now. Its country president breaks down the company's plans to net $2 billion in partner investments to Bengaluru, including the company's $400 million outlay in an R&D center. Another ET Now exclusive, digital transformation major UST tells South Central the backstory of its Thiruvananthapuram meeting with Kaynes Semicon that led to the JV between the two and their OSAT in Gujarat. American billionaire David Blitzer joins the bidding war for either the Royal Challengers Bengaluru or Rajasthan Royals. He's the second big name in recent times after Avram Glazer to show interest in buying an IPL team. Unrest in Kannur as Kerala Health Minister Veena George is allegedly attacked by protesting Kerala Students' Union activists. The state unit of the Congress, meanwhile, defends its youth workers. And it's the fairy tale wedding of the year as South Indian heartthrobs Vijay Deverakonda and Rashmika Mandanna tie the knot in Udaipur. Our top story first. The Indian arm of American semiconductor giant Applied Materials is looking to go all in on Bengaluru. Late last year, the company made headlines for leasing out 8 lakh square feet and 15 stories in Bengaluru for its base in India. In an exclusive chat with ET Now today, Applied Materials country president for India, Avinash Avula, has said that the company is setting aside $400 million to invest in its R&D operations in Bengaluru. This, as it looks to attract a total investment of $2 billion from its partners in the semiconductor ecosystem here, all with the goal of growing R&D operations 10x from the city. Here's a slice of that conversation I had with the president of Applied Materials India.
We've been in Bangalore for more than 2 decades, and we've had great success in the work we've been doing for the last several years. And our own journey has been evolving as a GCC and a support center to be actually driving product development.
Right.
And so the company sees a long-term ambition of what is it for the next 20 years. And so when we took this step, it was a signal to the company and also to the organization and in India that we are here to stay. We want to build and build for the future and take it really to the next level to have world-class facilities where our colleagues and employees can actually do work that is world-class and help India, Applied India think about enabling product development.
Right, absolutely. And even as you're doing this in Bengaluru itself, a lot of the work here could potentially mean $2 billion by way of investments itself that Applied Materials India could net into the ecosystem, so to speak. Break down that number for me. How does it work?
Certainly, that announcement actually has nothing to do with this building. It's actually incremental to this. Okay. And we've talked about actually a $400 million R&D center that we intend to build here. And we're actually actively in dialogue and planning to do that. And the way we think about that $2 billion impact is typically when Applied does some project like this, it can't do it alone. So it attracts partners. We are sort of the queen bee for our industry. And so there's typically a 4 to 5x multiplier effect in terms of investment. So when we do something like this, many of our close partners want to come and invest with us. And that's where we see that $2 billion net number coming from.
Right. So in terms of an investment on the part of Applied Materials India itself, what is that investment number like?
Yeah, so we've talked about $400 million, which is to build out R&D facilities here, really to enable product development. And this is where you would have heard this morning Radhika talk about make and invent in India. And this is to enable the invent in India India piece, where we will build products here to serve the world, making India a key contributor to the global value chain. So this lab will support India customers on the make side, but to invent in India to support global customers is where we take it forward. Building out labs and clean rooms that will be similar to a fab like the Tata fab, but much smaller. But this is where we do our core R&D and product development.
Right. You bring up your COO's speech, and what was rather interesting was that missing middle that she talks about. And there's been so much focus on making and manufacturing, but simply in terms of creating more and creating better, engineering and innovating itself. Yes. A long way to go, you'd reckon?
Absolutely. I think, look, we've been in this country, we've been doing a lot of design work, and that's been there. We own that position. And slowly we see a growing, in fact, I'd say very fast-growing end market with our applications and device. But what is missing is the equipment that supports the manufacturing, the fabs that we're talking about. And this is where Applied is keen to support both manufacturing in India for India, but also supporting product development that we do here for the world. So that's where we are seeing how we play and enable that missing middle, because really that's where the multiplier effect comes in. When you have design jobs, it doesn't really have a 4 or 5x multiplier effect because people are working at desks on computers. When we talk about people working in labs and working in factories, suddenly you need an ecosystem, a supply chain. You need suppliers to come in. And that's what Applied will look to bring here, is when we start playing that R&D role, which we already are doing at a much smaller scale in Whitefield, but our goal is to make it more than 10x of what we are doing today.
Absolutely. So will that also be a key focus area for you going forward? And if that's not the only one, where else are you looking at really insofar as the Indian or the South Indian semiconductor story, so to speak?
I mean, certainly we have a large presence in India, 6 different locations in 5 cities. In Chennai, we have an AI center that is actually driving AI for our company worldwide and engaging directly with customers. So this is not a support center. It's actually driving and enabling customer success outside of Chennai. In Bombay, we have a presence. We've had a 20-year presence working with IIT Bombay and also another business team there that is working on developing products, software products. And of course, we have a small site in Pune and Coimbatore. So these are the various sites that Applied is in. Bangalore will be the central location for us because of our several thousand employees, but we will look to see where we can expand and support specific needs for the company.
From one ET Now exclusive to the next digital transformation major, UST recently made news for inking a partnership with Kaynes Semicon towards setting up an OSAT facility in Sanand, Gujarat. In an exclusive chat with ET Now, the company's COO, Gilroy Matthew, told me all about the meeting in Thiruvananthapuram that made that partnership happen. We also spoke about key focus areas for the company and why the UST Kaynes partnership and OSAT is taking form and shape in Gujarat and not in one of South India's manufacturing corridors. Here's more from their exclusive conversation.
So just to give a background, we actually started the semicon journey 16 years back. So we laid the foundation to really make sure that we are not doing it just for the sake of few years. We want to really do the long run. So that's how we built the VLSI design, then verification, validation, hardware, software automation, and then we also invested on ATE and all of those. So now when India government has actually announced that they want to really make sure that India is going to be a semicon manufacturing hub, obviously we knew Kaynes was actually a leading company for electronic manufacturing systems, and they actually were scouting for partners. And they knew that we do extensive work in semicon in India and Malaysia and multiple other countries across the globe. So their leadership visited us in Trivandrum and had a direct conversation saying, how can we actually partner? Because we bring in the semiconductor expertise from an engineering standpoint. They bring in from a manufacturing standpoint for electronics. So that is how this partnership started.
All right.
Yeah.
I have to ask you then, take me through the roles that both the entities will play with regard to the partnership itself. 3,300 crore rupees, what has been proposed? How does the money get invested? Who coughs out what? And where will the money go essentially?
Yeah, so again, from our perspective, right, I mean, more than the money part, because we definitely want to really make sure that the ecosystem gets built in India. So that is where, again, they build the electronic manufacturing side of things. We bring in the engineering side, especially the ATE and packaging, because that is the additional capability that we bring in, because we have built in India and Malaysia extensively. So we even got the expertise of those from Malaysia and India to come in and implement in India. And that is expanding as a joint opportunity, because they will focus on the electronic manufacturing side of things, and we actually bring in the engineering capability from the AT and packaging. So that's the marriage.
Right. So in terms of who is investing how much, has that agreement also been ironed out?
No, I think those are things that I think I will leave it to the management to really do that, because those are things that is definitely with them.
Right.
I mean, in the sense like, that's not the priority for us.
Right.
I mean, we have to really make sure that we contribute to the India ecosystem and then make sure that we actually start delivering the first multi-core. The fortunate thing is, October, we delivered the first multi-core from India, 800 of them, and that is a proud moment for both Kaynes and UST.
I have to also ask you, what are the key focus areas for you? You talk about the investment being to develop, the purpose of the investment being to develop the ecosystem itself. Within the ecosystem, what are priority areas for UST in terms of where the investment will largely be going?
Okay. So I already spoke about AT and packaging, because there are not many companies in India are doing AT and packaging. So that is one thing that we are going to invest. The second thing is we are also going to invest on design houses. Because as the semiconductor ecosystem is evolving in India, that would become a very critical cog in all of these things. I know we will eventually get the fab and everything else coming in, then design house will become a significant player. Right. And that is why with the larger engineering capability of UST that we have built over the last 16 years, we believe that we also want to be a design house. So that is one. Secondly, we are also looking at, okay, can we actually look at inference chips from India? So that's a big ticket item that we are thinking. So like that, we have bigger plans, because we established ourselves in the last 16 years. We want to still play that leadership role.
Right. I have to ask you though, as a company whose Indian headquarters are in the state of Kerala, in Thiruvananthapuram, the fact is that you are partnering, establishing a partnership for an OSAT facility to take form and shape in the state of Gujarat. Now, one might argue that the South is, heavily manufacturing reliant, and that there is ample ecosystem and infrastructure here to develop perhaps an OSAT or even any kind of manufacturing setup within one of the 5 southern states. So what took you to Gujarat as opposed to choosing one of the states from South India itself?
No, so again, just a correction, right? We are a US-based company. We are headquartered in California.
Yes, but Indian headquarters are, of course, in Kerala.
The larger presence is in Trivandrum. And again, we need to look at where the opportunities are. So in this case, right, India government is actually enabling us with all the schemes, the PLI scheme and all of those. So that is more where we want to really make sure that we actually tie up with the India government to make that happen more than the state government. So in this case, we had the facilities, we had the real estate, everything provided by the government in Ahmedabad in support of the central government. So that enabled us much faster.
And last question before I let you go, what are some of the key policy initiatives that you feel could actually help take the business forward and aid growth from this time henceforth?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that I believe, this is something that we need to really make sure everybody is following as well, right? India is good in capability. Now, what we want to really make sure that we do it very correctly is from capability to continuity. And that is where the scale comes in. And that is where India will evolve as a global player in semicon and manufacturing. So that being said, 2 things has to happen. One, the academia and industry tie-up has to be strengthened even more. And secondly, we also need to enable a lot of the startup ecosystem to really get some of the manufacturing processes enabled, because it's a very heavy hardware-related things are very expensive for the startups. So if we can actually bring in that industry layer partnership between the startups and the manufacturing ecosystem, I know a lot of initiatives are getting evolved. Even in today, they were announcing the new setup for the manufacturing enablement, which is a great thing. So really bring in that correlation between the startups and the manufacturing environment to play around and try out new things will enable us to have more ecosystem for semicon and manufacturing.
Meanwhile, in news from the real estate space, Mindspace Business Parks REIT has struck a significant hospitality deal in Hyderabad. The K. Raheja Corp-sponsored office REIT has pre-leased about 5.3 lakh square feet at its Mindspace Madhapur campus to Chalet Hotels for the development of a 350 crore rupee, 330-room luxury hotel. Now, this mixed-use development, expected to be completed by Q4 of FY28, will include the high-end hotel alongside commercial space. It also marks the start of a push by the REIT to diversify beyond traditional office tenants like GCCs and ITES firms into the hospitality segment. Under the arrangement, we're given to understand that the REIT's special purpose vehicle will deliver the building's core and shell, while chalet hotels will manage interior fit-outs and hotel operations. Meanwhile, in some developing news from the world of sports, American billionaire investor David Blitzer has reportedly entered a high-stakes bidding war to buy a majority stake in one of two IPL franchises. That's the Royal Challengers Bengaluru and Rajasthan Royals. Now, the reported interest comes even as global and Indian investors line up ahead of a mid-March bidding deadline. Blitzer, remember, is the co-founder of Harrods Blitzer Sports and Entertainment and has reportedly roped in Blackstone to conduct due diligence on both teams, with RCB reportedly valued at a whopping $1.8 billion. Blitzer's interest in buying a majority stake in these teams come even as Manchester United co-chairman Avram Glazer and Indian business tycoons like Adar Poonawalla and Ranjan Pai have also thrown their hat in the ring to buy stake at either the RCB or the Rajasthan Royals. Now, the bidding war is also indicative of continued investor appetite in the IPL and sustained growth in the valuations of these IPL teams. In startup news next, Chennai-based aerospace startup the E-Plane company has inaugurated a new 60,000 square foot prototyping and testing facility for its electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft at the IIT Madras Discovery campus just outside Chennai. This makes the site in question one of India's largest hubs dedicated to electric VTOL aircraft development. What the integrated facility will also do is bring together design, prototyping, fabrication, testing and powertrain assembly under one roof and essentially take the E-Plane company's designs on paper and provide a site for the startup to actually build its product. This, of course, will be a key step towards moving from lab work to full-scale aircraft development of its compact eVTOL air taxi, the E200X. Now, the startup will be able to carry out tethered hover testing and progress towards securing regular certification at the site itself. This, in turn, will position the company for commercial roles like air ambulance services that could cut response times in congested urban areas. Moving on to court action next, the Kerala High Court has granted an interim stay on the release of the... Staying with more news from Kerala, tensions escalated sharply after the state's health minister Veena George was injured during a protest by activists from the Kerala Students' Union, or the KSU. This, of course, took place at the Kannur railway station. Police say the protest, originally staged over alleged medical negligence in government hospitals, turned chaotic as the minister attempted to board a Vande Bharat train. 5 KSU workers have been arrested and remanded to judicial custody. According to the FIR filed by Railway Police, the protesters, who were carrying black flags, approached the minister and allegedly struck her on the neck with a weapon of some kind, injuring her in the process. She was first treated at the Kannur District Hospital before being shifted to the Government Medical College nearby for further evaluation. Reacting to the alleged attack, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan condemned what he called an act of deliberate violence. Remember, the Kerala Students' Union is the students' wing of the Congress in the state, which has resulted in the attack turning possibly political. The Kerala State Congress, meanwhile, has denied charges that protesting students attacked the minister at all. Let's listen into what the party had to say.
The allegation that the KSU workers in Kannur assaulted the health minister is totally false. There is no evidence at all. The videos and the visuals clearly states that shows that there was no attack at all. Nobody has touched her body with any weapon or anything. No injury sustained. This is only false case fabricated against the KSU workers. It's a drama only.
Meanwhile, senior Congress leader and leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi arrived in Kannur today. Both Rahul and his sister and Wayanad MP Priyanka Gandhi will partake in a rehabilitation drive in Wayanad. The duo will lay the foundation stone for the homes for survivors of the 2024 landslide in the region. The visit is also crucial as it comes just ahead of the assembly elections in Kerala and the recent face-off between the left and the Congress in the state over multiple issues. Shifting focus to Tamil Nadu politics next, VK Sasikala, that's the former close aide of former Chief Minister, the late J. Jayalalitha, and the expelled leader she is of the AIADMK, Sasikala, that is, has formally re-entered active politics, unveiling the flag of her newly floated party in Ramanathapuram ahead of the 2026 Tamil Nadu Assembly elections. Declaring that staying away from politics would in fact be a quote-unquote betrayal of Jayalalitha's legacy, Sasikala positioned the party as rooted in Dravidian ideology, with the newly unveiled flag of her party carrying traditional colors and symbols associated with social justice and empowerment in Tamil Nadu, signaling Sasikala's bid to reclaim political space in the state's fragmented opposition landscape. Sasikala, remember, is still disqualified from contesting an election herself after her conviction in a disproportionate assets case. Let's listen into what the AIADMK had to say about Sasikala's re-entry into active politics.
I think that is a decision that might have an implication on the upcoming election. But whatever it is, it will depend entirely on what steps she takes, what is her stand, and how she moves forward. Other than that, it is her independent decision.
And before we end, let's get you a sneak peek from the fairy tale wedding of the year. Southern heartthrobs Vijay Deverakonda and Rashmika Mandanna have tied the knot in a private ceremony in Udaipur. The couple exchanged vows and garlands today in an intimate yet traditional ceremony at a luxury resort in the city, surrounded by close family and friends. The celebrations, we're told, featured Telugu wedding rituals, and the couple is said to have turned emotional while exchanging garlands. And while the event itself has been strictly private, their teams on the ground have distributed sweets among media persons covering the wedding, even as fans now eagerly wait for the first pictures from the event to hit social media. Well, let's wish Vijay Deverakonda and Rashmika Mandanna a lifetime of happiness then. And on that happy note, it's a wrap on this episode of South Central. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow for more news and updates from the region. For the moment, it's goodbye from us.